How's it going, everyone? I'm Alex. I'm a full-time six-figure Amazon seller, and in today's video, I want to show you the ins and outs of Keepa. Using Keepa to find products is basically essential for any Amazon seller. If you've ever tried to find products to sell on Amazon before, you basically have to have some sort of data tool to understand if it's been profitable in the past, what the price movement does based on how many sellers are on the listing, and things like that to understand if the product is even worth purchasing. So Keepa is your go-to tool to understand that price history. Before we jump into the video, I'd appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel down below and like the video, but let's get into it. Okay, so I have a Nike shoe here, the men's Free Run 2 running shoes. This is the product that I'm going to look at, and I'm going to show you the different features of Keepa. They're going to help me determine whether or not this product is worth purchasing. Let's say theoretically I can find this shoe for $45 on one of the websites that sell Nike. So we have our seller amp extension here, kind of gives us a quick synopsis to even understand if we want to look at the Keepa chart, because if the numbers don't even look good before you even get to Keepa, what's the point of looking into that even further, because you're just going to spend more time on a bad product. The goal is to, when you're sourcing, get through as many products as possible and hopefully find a few diamonds in the rough throughout that process. But if you're only getting through 10 to 50 products in an hour, you need to get that number up to 500 to 1,000 in an hour, because if you can sort through products real quickly, you're going to have a lot better time sourcing and you're going to find products a lot more often. So I scroll down to the Keepa. You can add the Chrome extension right onto every Amazon page. I highly recommend you do this. It just makes it super easy to see all the data right in front of you without having to click off screen or off the product. So first we see the chart here. I have the buy box highlighted, the sales rank highlighted, and then you can see the new offer count down below. I don't really look at FBM or FBA. I just know what price is the buy box at. A lot of times the FBA sellers are going to be right at that buy box line, and the FBM sellers sometimes a little below, but usually they're pretty close to that buy box number as well. So I normally turn both of those off. It's just more clutter on the graph. The sales rank is that green line. This is going to give you an idea of how often this product sells. The seller amp extension kind of gives you a sales estimator next to that sales rank number, so you can kind of guess at what rank gives you how many sales per month. We can see down below the number of sellers on the listing at this certain time. Hopefully you'll start to see correlations when the seller count goes up or down, how the price reacts to that. But since this is the shoe and it's a variation listing, one thing you want to really make sure before spending a bunch of time on the data is to understand if this variation or this size and color is actually going to sell well. So we'll go to the variations tab, and you want to sort by ratings. If a product has more ratings, presumably it has more people purchasing it and able to give it a rating. If it doesn't have any ratings, probably no one's buying it to even give it a rating. You can't rate it if you don't buy the product. So theoretically, for Amazon sellers, the more ratings, the more sales this specific SKU has been getting. So the rule of thumb for Amazon sellers is we take that percentage of the rating share and multiply that by the sales per month to give you kind of a good estimate of how often this exact variation is selling. It's not perfect, but it definitely gives you a pretty good estimate as to how many sales you can probably expect for the month. As you'll see, certain variations definitely sell more than others. Usually the neutral colors like the black and the white shoes in the good sizes like 9 through 12 is usually a good size for men. These odd color shoes a lot of times won't sell very well, so even if you see a high buy box, doesn't always automatically point to purchasing this product, because look, there's no ratings on here, which tells me that there's very few sales for people to actually rate the product. We want to stay with these products that have a good amount of ratings. These are potentially going to give you a lot better chance of getting the buy box and making sales. So now that we know that this 9.5 black shoe that we're looking at is probably going to sell pretty well on this listing, we can go back to the price history and start understanding what's happening with this price over the last few months. So looking big picture, we can see the price does kind of level out at this $82 to $85 range. We can kind of draw a straight line here and get a lot of the buy box share. You do see some dips and some peaks on this chart. We want to correlate the number of sellers to those price changes. You can see here when the sellers drop off, we can see a price increase, and that's just a supply and demand issue. As we see the sellers creep back up on the listing, the price levels back out to that $75 to $85 range. This is something you want to pay attention to before you buy the product, right? If we're buying when there's hardly any sellers on the listing, we can expect to maybe sell this for a little bit more. And if we're buying when there's anywhere from 30 to 40 sellers in the listing, we just have to understand that we're probably not going to sell this product above $85. So for me, that's one of the most important steps, is to understand what price you think you can sell this product at, and are you going to be able to be profitable when you source it at that price. Another step we want to look into is the data tab, and we want to look at the current offers. The offers are going to show the current price that these sellers are listing at. Kind of gives you a rough estimate of how many they've sold in the last 30 days. This isn't super accurate because Keepa doesn't have all the data to know which sellers have sold how many products, but it does kind of give you some idea of how many of these sellers have in stock, how many sellers are on the listing, what prices they have, and if their stock has changed over the last few months. You can understand if a lot of the sellers on the listing are selling FBA or if there are some FBM sellers. And then lastly, I like to see when these people first got on the listing, right? If they've been on the listing for months and months or even up to a year, that means they've been able to find this product profitable for a long period of time. And you might be able to potentially find that same product profitable, maybe from the same source they're buying from. There's a lot of sellers that are just getting on the listing. Maybe this product is a bolo and its price is going to fluctuate a ton when a bunch of sellers hop on the listing, but you want to use that data to your advantage. Lastly, we can look at the buy box statistics tab. This is going to help you understand how many different sellers are able to get a share of that buy box. If you have the buy box share, you're going to get the sales. You can see there's a pretty even distribution of buy box share on this listing. There are certain listings you will see where 1 or 2 sellers are sharing anywhere from 50 to 90% of the buy box share. And those are listings maybe you want to stay off of because it might be a little harder to get the buy box share from someone who has it 80% of the time compared to the highest person only having 15% of the share. You can also see that the person with the most buy box share is an FBM seller, which during December is a great time to FBM, so maybe this is a product worth looking into. But because no one seller is really taking the entire buy box, that's just another box to check to understand if this is a product worth purchasing. And with all this data, hopefully you are able to understand what price you can sell your product at, and can you still be profitable if the price does fluctuate. All right, if you guys didn't use Keepa before, definitely want to start using it now, or if you didn't really know how to use it, hopefully this video gave you a little more insight on how powerful of a tool it is to help you find profitable products to sell on Amazon. If you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.